Hello and welcome to Patched. I'm your host, Paul James. Today I'm joined by Matto Phillips. How are you, mate?
Good. I got a sword.
Yeah, we were discussing before the recording the fact that, like, at one point your sister borrowed, like, my Hylian sword and shield, and you think the shield's kicking around somewhere, and I have no idea where the sword is.
I thought this was your sword,
but it was not
and
it.
you said not your sword.
No.
We're only discussing this because of this weird background thing in Paul's, secret shed.
Weird. My studio is coming together now. I mean, anyone who is...
What? Did I say shed? I said shed. I mean studio.
Studio.
Paul's
Looks amazing.
studio.
No
longer a shed. He's moved out of the shed and into a studio.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Studio has working internet. Doesn't have to open a door.
Don't have to open a door except to walk in.
Cold breeze. Ooh.
Oh no, still get the cold breeze. Still get a cold breeze.
That.
It's this time of night. It starts getting pretty icy in here. No, I mean, yeah, you're right. The background is starting to all come together now. Audio listeners, this is starting to look like a proper thing now, where I'll actually do proper stuff and kind of look like I kind of know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Maybe it's getting. I've got to be careful not to go too over the over top, because otherwise I'll just start looking like some Twitch streamer, and they're wankers.
I've got a hat. That's you probably can't see it, but
you can just kind of see it hanging in the background. But
other than that, I've got nothing but a sword. Oh no!
Oh no! Lost their focus. Yeah, we're not YouTubers at all.
Oh no! Hang on. I got a sword and a ring fit that I used once.
Oh, nice. Oh, you're doing better than me with the ring fit.
Just like true form to anything or fitness.
Try it once, like a New Year's resolution, and then give up on it nice and quick.
No, pushed it in once and like, nah, my arms are sore, and give up.
This is not for me.
This is not for me.
I'm going to give it a crack at one point, but when it is not this day, that's for sure. So we're a little bit late to the party on this topic. About a month ago. Hey.
It's what we do best.
It is what we do best. We're always a little bit behind. But we thought we'd kind of revisit now that the dust has kind of settled a little bit, and I think most people have kind of had their say on the whole topic. We'd kind of come back to it a little bit. So there was a tweet that went out from Garner, who has a little bit to do. Well, he's in the indie scene. Neon Doctrine. He's published some cool games over the journey. Had a hand in a whole bunch of others. And he was basically hanging it indirectly on PlayStation and how they're handling independent developers and publishers.
I'm going to stop you there.
Platform X.
A console that doesn't have Games Pass, okay?
Yeah, true. Could be the Switch. But probably
Could be
not.
the Switch.
For reasons that are clear as we go through the tweets.
Could be, what's that Stadia thing?
Stadia.
The Stadia?
Yeah,
or the new Valve Switch Pro that's coming out at the end of the year.
True. That he commented on before it was announced. But yeah, it could be that too.
You never know.
So we're going to kind of go through Lane's tweet in the first place, and then we'll kind of spin off wherever the conversation kind of goes from there. Most people have heard this, so we won't necessarily stick with it all that long. But Lane was mad enough to burn some bridges, because honestly, what's the point of a bridge that I'm not allowed to cross? So here's a thread about Platform X. Not PlayStation, not Valve, no one, just Platform X. I will not be defining Platform X, but it's an operator of a very successful console that does not have Game Pass. So yeah, that was kind of at least some form of narrowing down that went on. There's more that makes it clear soon. Platform X gives developers no ability to manage their games. In order to get promotion, you must jump through hoops, beg and plead for any level of promotion, and a blog is not as good as they think it is. That was probably another little cue that, okay, it's PlayStation, because PlayStation makes a big deal about the PlayStation blog. If Platform X does not like your game, no fanfare, no feature, no love. There is nothing you can do to fix this. Wishlists have no effect, so your personal marketing means nothing to Platform X. All that matters is their evaluation. How is the evaluation done? Dunno, they don't share that, nor do they share the value they ascribe to my game. So before you launch, you need to 1. Develop the game for Platform X, 2. Get through their incredibly difficult lot check spread over 3 generations of back-end software, 3. Submit a Platform X specific trailer, 4. Write a Platform X blog, which 5. Submit multiple forms for social media. Oh, and for 3 and 4, you need to go through an account manager. When asked how to get an account manager, we were told, I'm not sure, they're assigned by resources. So, yeah, good work, PlayStation. As we now know, there's no way to know what resource level you have been assigned. There's a whole bunch of other points in here, Matto, that we've already combed through, that the internet has already combed through.
So say, is this like a terms and conditions thing? This is just enormous.
Um,
You
you
gotta
mean in
go
terms of
here.
like the list of steps and hoops you got to jump
Yeah,
through, or
yeah. You go. Oh, sorry. It's like one of those joke things. Like, oh, sorry, you're in the. This is you need form 22A. This is 22B. You have to go back and do 22A to get to 22B. Then you got to do 21C to
yeah,
do 22B. You're like, oh god, no.
yeah.
This is
Look,
what
it's a
it
bit of a
feels
mess.
like.
And I mean, look, there's some other things, and we'll touch on these really briefly before we just dive into the conversation. They talk about how you can't do launch discounts, which you see on a lot of other platforms, Switch, Xbox, it's probably on Steam as well, because apparently those are very limited. So you can't do anything with that console ever. Like, it'll always be the worst deal if you want to buy the game on PlayStation. But don't worry, there's a way to get. You can guarantee you'll get featured. All you need to do is spend a very reasonable amount of $25,000 to get featuring. Oh, and then 30% of your subsequent earnings.
Oh yeah, everyone has $25,000 lying around. I
Yeah.
mean, I do. Do you, Paul?
Not now. No,
I've got it
I
under my
spent it all on
bed.
a shed. I mean, a studio. Studio.
Studio.
Studio.
What shed? What's this shed you talk of?
Don't look behind the camera. There's bikes and
Like,
lawnmowers and all
oh,
sorts of shit.
sounds like a shed.
Sounds like a shed, but
Oh, it's a
all,
studio.
all I can see is a studio. I don't get it. Anyway, discounts are invite only, and basically no data. They just get, and from other sources along the way, we've heard about how they basically just send spreadsheets, really messy, ugly spreadsheets that make it impossible to determine really how much you're selling in different regions around the world at what price, all those sorts of things. So basically, all of this stuff, host of different details, but all of this stuff is ultimately leading to the question that we're discussing today, which is PlayStation mismanaging indies? They've kind of been going with this branding PlayStation Heart Indies for quite some time. They quite clearly demoted Shuhei Yoshida from his head of first-party studios role down to kind of this independent managerial sort of role. But they employed Greg Rice, who worked at Double Fine for years and had a lot to do with Day of the Devs. They invested heavily in the indie scene, and yet they're copping a belting from not only Lane, but a whole bunch of other developers in the comments that basically just seem to see the floodgates get cracked, or a little crack of water, and the floodgates opened. Everyone's come piling in on them. So,
Boom.
what do you think? Like a PlayStation mismanaging or just horribly managing independent developers? Because we're still seeing indies come exclusively.
Horribly managed. Because going by those steps you just said just sounds incredibly stupid. Like the whole blog thing. PlayStation, like those biased one-sided PlayStation people don't read
Yeah,
that 10%.
for the most part.
Like, honestly, let's be honest here. Who reads a blog if it's longer than 10 words?
Look, I mean, I read the PlayStation blog, but that's also kind of part and parcel of what I'm trying. I'm trying to keep up with the news, and even then, like I'd say 90% of the stuff on the blog I don't read. It's when Guerrilla Games pops up to talk about Horizon Forbidden West that I'll go, oh sweet, awesome. Some
Delayed.
random indie. No disrespect to them, but if I was to stop and give 10 minutes of my day to every or five, whatever, however long it takes to read that blog post, 5 minutes of my day to every independent developer that has a game coming out, well, there goes my full-time employment. It's a lot. So yeah, I don't disagree with you at all there.
Just writing up a blog, for starters. I mean, it's not a big AAA game here. It's an indie game, for crying out loud. You don't have to go into detail of an indie game.
Look, they just think it's a marketing tool, and it is to an extent, and it works with some games. It 100% works with some games. If you can strategically, you talk about this, and we went for this and did this and did this, and then there's a GIF below that shows it, or it connects to your YouTube trailer or whatever that you've got set up, and all those. Like, it can work, but I think we all know as people who kind of consume this content, and not only do we kind of try and critique games and discuss games, but we also will look at them through the lens of consumers as well. We are still consumers at the end of the day, and we do still get excited by games. It's not a blog post that sells us on these things. It's the trailers and the game itself, seeing it in action.
I've been intrigued by this so-called, was it PlayStation type trailer that you said, or was something like that?
Oh no, it's just like get the trailer on. So you've got the blog, you've got your description or whatever, and then immediately below it, you've got a video there that's just a trailer that's been uploaded to the PlayStation. No.
I thought it was like all your Marvel Disney films, like they're all the same layout. I thought this was the same. It was like, oh,
Oh, yeah, I guess you've got that if it's a PlayStation first party thing, because now they're leading with the PlayStation Studios thing, and it's all
just a
kind of
slow motion.
yeah. They've really
Slow
tried to knock
motion.
off the Marvel thing there, but no, that's not quite what I meant in this case.
Oh, right.
Um, and as I said before, there's been tons of indies that have piled in on top of all of this. I think for the most part, it all just feels like PlayStation, or I guess those on the back end. I don't think I mentioned Shuhei and Greg Rice, and they're incredibly talented, super experienced people that know, like, they've got a really good eye for talent. It doesn't necessarily feel like they're doing a bad job, because obviously they can't be across the thousands of games that are being developed, across every single game that's being developed in the indie scene, every single beat of the day.
Maybe it's your buddy,
Yeah.
best friend in the world, Jim Ryan.
Jim Ryan. Yeah, no, we don't talk about Jim Ryan here. This is not a PlayStation show.
No,
No, it's just become one a bit in the last few months.
anti-PlayStation. Sure, talk about him. Go for
I
it.
just have my little PlayStation symbols
Just
in
your
the
little
background, and my Ratchet and
Sexy
Clank.
Ratchet
and-
Clank and your Last of Us,
Not
and
the
your
not that
Ghost
people
of
can see the Ratchet and Clank
Tsushima,
one. I'll have to
your
rearrange them.
Uncharted, Spider-Man figurine.
Yeah, I'm a shill. But it just seems like it's all the other back end stuff. It's the people that handle the indies, probably the big ones too, but even the small ones on just kind of a more day-to-day sort of level. There's just no communication, or there's no system in place. And I think that's probably highlighted with the whole account manager thing, that people, like, they don't even know who to steer developers towards. Like, it's a mess. It just sounds like they're 21, like, their hardware is amazing, but their back end, all the systems that play in the back end, from the actual technology side to just the human side, is organized and running like something 15, 20 years ago.
It sounds like a school project to start off with. Oh, we got this great idea. We're going to do this. And your teacher goes,
Yeah.
that's a great idea, or that's stupid.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then you go, oh, you did really good. You can go on to the Nationals now and see how you go there. You can get a big cash prize. But first, you have to pay a lot of money first to claim your big cash prize. So in the end, you pretty much win nothing.
Nothing. And so, like Lane said in the thing, on the kind of side of discounts, like, if you want to buy a game on PlayStation, more often than not, you are spending more than anyone else. You can't even, when PlayStation has sales, and they have sales regularly, the majority of parties don't actually get a say in whether they're on sale or not.
Just PlayStation Hits. Is it called Hits? I don't know what it's called.
Oh no, but Hits was kind of like the old platinum, game going platinum style thing. I don't mean that. I mean just like, if there's a sale on the PlayStation Network or something like that, you don't really get a say in it. It's just a matter of if they deem you worthy or whatever. For the majority of developers anyway. The big ones might get a say. But you could see it going on sale on every other platform, and then PlayStation people, if you're only playing on PlayStation, might have to pay full price, and it's ridiculous. It's not like people who love PlayStation are going to have to pay the most in the majority of cases.
Sucked in.
And that's not even factoring in Game Pass and all those sorts of things as well. So it's kind of insane. What can they do to fix this shit?
Whatever their process is, just burn
Blow
it.
it up.
Just blow it up, put it in a vault, drop it at the bottom of the ocean. Do whatever you want with it. Go to the deepest part of the ocean and just drop it. And then just come up, I don't know, with a 3-step idea or something like, what is your game? 1, what do you need? And how can it be done? And then start from there.
Checks out.
But still, the $25,000 thing is quite steep.
Look, I'll give them a pass on that one. I don't think Nintendo doesn't do it because Nintendo doesn't have a featured area, basically. Like, theirs is so primitive. It's just, here's a slab of games, and if you sell well, because maybe there was some existing buzz outside of just our store, then you'll shoot to the top and you'll get noticed. Because enough people buy you straight out the gate that you'll get noticed, and that's it. You're okay at that point. But otherwise, it's just, here's the reel, and you're kind of scrolling through it as if it's your Instagram feed or something like that.
11,000 games to pick from.
Yeah, and it's horrible. It is a really horrible system they've got
It's
going.
really bad.
I
think
Xbox
most
on the
of
other.
them.
Oh yeah, go
I
on.
would say Xbox is a little bit better, but still not great
Yeah,
at times. but I think functionality-wise, it's just a bit
Yeah, it's kind of
subpar.
crazy. Xbox does have a fee that apparently is not too dissimilar to what PlayStation's asking for. Like, we're talking $30,000 in that sort of ballpark. Again, US, if you want to get featured. Like, it's a steep price, and that's because there's only so many spots. And when you factor in that, if we think about the Xbox lens of, in a month or two, and it's kind of already started, but in a month or two, you are just going to be seeing Halo and Forza all over the Xbox store, like the dashboard. So there's not going to be a lot of room for someone else. And if you want to be that one indie that's coming out later in the year on the Xbox that wants to get that spot, you're going to have to pay a fair bit of money to knock Master Chief out of one of those squares.
Well, how about we put them all in a boxing ring, and they can all fight it out for that one spot?
The
Or like
Xbox
gladiators,
almighty
or like-
Xbox dollar versus versus
gladiators.
Oh, jeez, can you take me back? Gladiators was so good back in the day.
I know.
And when it came
Maybe they
back,
could do like a gladiators type battle.
where's
where they get to spot.
Thunder and Tower and Vulcan? Vulcan was my
Vulcan.
favorite.
Oh, Vulcan.
Vulcan was my favorite.
Flame.
Yeah. Holy shit. Most people,
We're,
any
we're
international
talking
people
about we're
have no
talking
idea
about
what we're
20 years ago. We're not talking about the one from 10 years ago.
Yeah, that wasn't.
We go.
It was okay,
way
but
back.
there was definitely
no,
not
it's
really
good.
any iconic characters or like people in
Vulcan.
the
Oh,
ones from
Vulcan.
there. Oh, holy shit. But yeah, you got to pay a decent sum of money regardless. So I'm not too worried about that one. But I think it kind of shows the direction things are going. Yes, you've got what Lane is saying. Yes, you're seeing the many people that are responding. A few people are just kind of simply saying thank you for and he clearly kind of outlined that he'd maybe had a couple drinks that kind of just got him in the mood to say what he needed to say, just loosened his lips a little bit. But like, there's a
Just
lot
threw
of
the bottle on
developers.
the ground, just went, screw it.
Fuck
I'm
it,
doing
that's
it.
it. We're on. Cracks his knuckles. Let's go.
Snaps, cracks the neck.
Like,
and
there's a
just
lot of
starts to
developers. Like this 20 tweet thread.
Wakes up the
Like,
next
there's a-
morning and just goes, shit.
Yeah. Oh, what did I do? There's dozens of developers, probably hundreds, that have all piled in, kind of saying equivalents of thank you and those sort of things. But even if we ignore what has been said and we just look at the difference between what's happening on PlayStation and Xbox, we won't focus on Switch because they basically get oh no, actually we'll touch on Switch too. If we even think about indies in recent months, like Xbox has managed to nab Death's Door, which is one of my game of the year so far, one of yours. They've got The Ascent, which has been a big high-profile title that's
Would you
just
include
come out.
12 minutes in there as well?
Yeah, 12 minutes is
It's coming
2
out
weeks
this
away.
month.
Yeah, it's literally 2 weeks away, and again coming to Game Pass, so that's obviously guaranteed money for the developers, and that's an Annapurna game, which kind of links me to. Well, I mean, Annapurna just had a big showcase last week, outlining a whole bunch of titles they've got going, and they do have a couple coming to PlayStation. There was Stray and Solar Ash and those sort of things. But I guess the through line for all of those is they are those big. I guess what's starting to get dubbed a AAA title, where it's like it's an independent game, but it's got that AAA sort of look about it. So again, Kena Bridge of Spirits, which is an indie game, I guess at its soul, but there's clearly a lot of money that they've got. And indie developers, your standard indie doesn't have millions of dollars to pump into that sort of CGI technology and those sorts of things. But PlayStation seems to be going for those as far as indies are concerned. And then anything that doesn't quite fit that, anything that's a little bit more old school in its style.
You mean like Hades type?
A Hades or Hades came to Switch and PC first. Like, maybe there's something in that as well, and it's coming to Xbox Game Pass. So the only place that you really has been severely disadvantaged is PlayStation, where you didn't get it when the other platforms got it, and then when it finally did come to your platform, you have to pay for it, unlike Game Pass.
I just sort of wonder what the other process is for the other two consoles.
I don't know that there is much of one.
Let's say no blog free.
No blog for starters.
Well, there you go. That's where it is.
A lot of reports with Nintendo, and it probably shows why there's a bunch of shit shovelware sort of titles on there as well, is that they've just got like an open door policy. You want to put your game on Nintendo? Go for it. We don't have to. No questions asked.
Do what you like.
And I guess PlayStation has that to an extent, because we did talk last week in the updates about Funny Truck. And obviously, like,
My Name is Mayo. You can put on there as well.
My Name is Mayo and Life of Black Tiger and all sorts of horrible shit over the years. Like the stuff the shovelware still gets there, but yeah, just you're right. I think like the processes just aren't as rigorous. They're not trying to force people out. Even on the Xbox side, where you do still see some of these sorts of games, they're just sure, come on in. Like we'll give you everything you need. It's just like a clear process they've got set up that just allows anyone to get in and do their business without too many issues. And so we're seeing, I don't think Death's Door was a byproduct necessarily of this sort of thing, because it was published by Devolver, and Devolver knows 100% how to handle PlayStation and that sort of thing. Like they would be able to jump the queue if they needed to.
And they've got games coming to PlayStation anyway. It's just
and they do, yeah.
Yes, or was it?
Yeah, Devolver does seem to kind of share the love around. I mean, they had their exclusive deal with Fall Guys, and it's still exclusive in the console space to PlayStation. It's coming to Xbox and Switch, but it still hasn't arrived yet.
I've got that Switch game as well, the exclusive one you can only order online. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I remember that. I should do something about that, otherwise I'll never be able
So
to get
should
it.
I just remembered it then. It was like, oh,
Good call. Good one. Very good one. But yeah, I mean, Annapurna I mentioned before, like they're the interesting one. Yeah, so again, PlayStation's trying to pinch those really AAA looking ones, and again, Solar Ash and Stray kind of fit that bill. But then anything that kind of has a more, it might look super modern and flashy, like say a Death's Door does, where it looks like visually it looks really striking, but it's
your 2D
kind of,
platformer.
Yeah, but it's kind of old school in its design, and that doesn't seem to be anything they're going for. So they're, and I guess that kind of links in with they really want to be this, I don't know, the top film studio that only has hit after hit after hit. I guess they're trying to be Marvel.
Disney. Yeah, Marvel.
Disney and Marvel. I guess they're trying to be that in the gaming space, and it's successful for them, but they're burning a lot of bridges at the same time, and it's a shame, because this PlayStation fanboy would like to be playing Death's Door on his PlayStation now. I'd like to be able to play a whole bunch of these other games that Annapurna announced last week. I'd like to be able to play 12 minutes on my PlayStation.
That you can't.
I can't. Now,
play Deathloop
getting the
on
game
PlayStation 4.
Oh, you mean that game published by Xbox?
Bethesda, that's owned by Xbox.
So it's a bit of a shame. But I mean, obviously that's not indie, but yeah, it's just they're clearly shitting the bed. And again, keep Shu, keep Greg. They're doing a great job. None of this is their fault. They do have a really good eye for talent.
So it's just someone from accounting.
Yeah.
Jen. I don't know.
And like, they didn't even just initially. It's not one of these. I think a lot of people have been quick to point the finger, a bit like what PlayStation actually did last gen, where they came out and supported indies real hard at the beginning of the PS4, and that was mostly because they didn't have the AAA titles to go with it. Uncharted didn't come out till 2016. Bloodborne was 2015. You got Infamous.
For some reason 4, for some reason PS3.
Last year, with PS4.
I
suppose we're still.
That's my thought.
Yeah, sorry,
that's my fault. It's like, hang on. I was like, Uncharted came out in 2006. I was like, hang on. Not 2016. I was like,
yeah, you muddling all that, but that's right. Yeah, timelines are all messed up.
All right, I got it now.
New gen, current gen, and all that terminology. Like they didn't have a lot straight out the gate. They had Infamous, Second Son.
But neither did Xbox. Like it was just a very quiet period.
But PlayStation,
very quiet period.
PlayStation kicked him in the teeth because of all the marketing stuff at the beginning. Xbox, with Call of Duty and TV shows and a dog and all that sort of stuff, and PlayStation just smashed it.
Their marketing thing is like, how to give a game to a friend. Here you go. Thanks. Like I laughed at that. I will admit that was quite funny.
It's one of the best pieces of marketing of all time.
It is.
Behind Kevin Butler.
Who had a Wii in the background.
Bring back Kevin Butler. Like they smashed him with that, and indies were a big part of it, and they kind of filled in the gaps, and then their influence just kind of waned over the course of the last generation. I don't think they're starting the same way here, because again, we're seeing Kana and all those sort of things, and then they have their state of plays, and that's where they announce things like Sifu. Have you seen Sifu?
No. Maybe I have.
There's a bit of buzz about that one, and it looks really, really sweet. So they're announcing, like they're using the state of plays to kind of, where maybe the tent pole is, I don't know, let's say when they announced Resident Evil 2 at kind of the end of one all those years ago, or was it 3? I don't know. I can't remember how long state of play has been a thing for now. Or they have their Horizon one, but there's a whole bunch of indies around it, or Deathloop, where it's a 20-minute thing or 30-minute thing. You're going to see 10 to 12 minutes of Deathloop, and then the rest of it is Who knows? But they use Deathloop to get you in the door and then show off Sifu, which was there, and a whole bunch of others. Like, it's
Is that the ninja one?
yeah, kind of. And then every time you die, you get older.
New age. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I know that one. Yeah.
Like, they're strategic like that, but the stated plays don't come often enough. And then they'll have this occasional thing where, like, hey, we're going to announce a whole bunch of titles, and they just kind of tweet them out, and then they just disappear like a fart in the wind.
It's like Grand Theft Auto 5, Ghost of Tsushima, Director's Cut, Death Stranding, Director's Cut. God knows what other Director's Cuts they're going to have.
Well, yeah, there'll be more
Spider-Man.
there too.
Spider-Man.
But I mean the indies.
Director's
Like,
Cut.
they announce, here's like 3 or 4, 5 indies that we're going to announce, and they do them like half an hour apart, so they don't give them any time to bask in the spotlight. And then after this is done, and it's usually like a 2.5, 3 hour thing, because they are kind of dotting them out every half hour, and there's a blog post because there has to be a blog post. But then, an hour or two after it's done, hey, have you seen the latest trailer for Call of Duty or this or whatever it is? And so it just disappears, because obviously the Call of Duty fans lose their shit over it. They like it, they retweet it, and it just blows up, and the other stuff gets completely drowned out.
So it's just like the Olympics for Channel 7, as always. Like,
Yeah,
there's a serious game of basketball going on, and then they'll say, let's
pan over to the fencing.
It's a very close game of basketball, but let's go to a replay of the swimming earlier in the day where they won gold for the 14th time.
Yeah,
Like,
and I
no,
like swimming,
I don't
but
want
no,
to.
show me what's happening now.
No, I want to watch the basketball. I don't want to watch the 14th replay of the swimming.
I want to see Patty Mills and Joe Ingles smash threes.
Not watch someone win a bloody gold for swimming in a pool.
Yeah, I like the swimming, but seriously, come on, Channel 7.
Come on,
Give us a
7.
So, yeah, that's that. Have you got any other thoughts on this whole indie thing?
No, by the sounds of things, it just sounds like an ugly mess that PlayStation have done.
Yeah, it's all back end
I
stuff.
know it probably goes a little bit deeper than what we know.
Oh, of course.
Apart from the tweets of the ridiculous way you have to get your indie in, or
Yeah,
there's
certified
another
or
easy
whatever.
way to do it. Just say I'm from Naughty Dog, and they'll just pass you through all the steps.
I used to work for Naughty Dog.
I used to work for Naughty Dog. Oh, by all means, just go through that door.
We love you, but bow.
What do you do? I used to work on The Last of Us 2. Oh, did you now? I guess go in that door then. Off you go.
Yeah, here's the special door for you. Yeah,
So,
I mean, there's probably a bit of that too.
Oh,
I know.
what? Oh, then another one comes in. Oh, who do you work for? Insomniac. Get out. Just fill out this big pile of papers for me,
Yeah.
and bring them back in 15 minutes.
So it'd
With
be
a
interesting to see where it all goes. Again, they are still supporting indies, but they are missing out on a lot. So clear, and they're always going to miss out on some. Exclusives will always be a thing. Maybe 12 minutes isn't a product of what's going on, if we use that as an upcoming, really recent example.
It just doesn't fit the mold of PlayStation's
Yeah, well, I mean,
so-called indie.
you'd like to think these things will probably come across at some point, but they
Yeah,
figured
when they
there's-
find out that people want to play it and buy it, and they're all making the dollary dues from it,
yeah,
then they're like, oh, we better get them over. We want dollary dues too.
yeah. I mean, they're the tricky ones because, I mean, I shouldn't really use stuff like 12 Minutes as an example or Death's Door, because they are the ones that have big publishers behind them with Annapurna and Devolver and those sort of things. It's dude working in their basement or whatever, small team of it's, let's say, and they love PlayStation, they just put a game out on the PS4 and 5, but like say Rainbite working on Trigger Witch, for example, the ones that don't have the support of some massive publisher that's been doing this for years and probably has some really good relationships with PlayStation or whatever, and can maybe exploit that a little bit to push
Was it
forward.
that Big Ant?
Oh yeah, Big Ant. I mean, they
Got purchased.
they got
before
bought
that.
out recently, but like I guess they can kind of lean on existing relationships. They've been and done it as well, but yeah, you're really small team of 2 or 3 people that have never really done this before, that are trying it for the first time. You want to make it easy for them to put it out there, not so they can just put shit out into the world, but so they can just, like, this dream that they've been working on for years, that they can actually fulfill it, and they don't have to jump through a million hoops just to make it happen. The hard work has already been done, or is still being done by making a game. Don't make it harder.
Work. Yeah, I was gonna say the hard work is just beginning.
Yeah, the hard work is obviously making the game itself and whatnot, but like they're already dealing with enough, so don't throw more at them. Make it easy for them. It should be so obvious. But anyway,
Should
Xbox
we
is doing
just, like,
it. Nintendo's doing it.
Just
PlayStation, plot your
upload,
socks.
done. Publish, done.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know,
Make
iTunes.
it like YouTube.
iTunes with, like, podcast. Just wait a couple of weeks, get the tick, and just bang,
Yeah.
you're done. Why
what we
can't
haven't-
it be that easy?
And what we haven't discussed on top of all that is cert, which is obviously an issue for first party, for third party, for indies, everyone. Like that's a crazy thing, but that's crazy for every platform. So I can appreciate that. But when you add that on top of everything, it's just insane. Anyway, probably a good place for us to wrap things up. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, not one mention of Damo at all.
Well, now you've gone and done it.
Well, I just had to just reference it. People go, oh, you forgot about Damo.
Nah, he'll be back to us one day, and when he does, he's going to lose his shit over all
He'll
this.
just reappear out of nowhere. We just won't mention it. We'll just keep talking, and he'll just come in out of nowhere.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, hey guys.
Just drop in audio only because we weren't expecting it. And we're good.
Yeah.
Well,
We don't know.
if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like, share, subscribe. All the buttons are down below, and hit the notification bell. That way you're alerted to every new video the moment it goes live on the channel. That includes more patched Player 2 plays, Gamer School, and a whole bunch more.
Ooh.
There's some awesome stuff there, so please subscribe and go and check it out. Got it right this time without an awkward, horribly pregnant pause. Visit the website player2.net.au for reviews, previews, opinion pieces, news, features, links to the podcast series, Patched, the Player 2 Pixelcast, and Dev Diary. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au, kicking a few bucks, lower tiers early access, higher tiers monthly episode exclusives, and finally there's Twitter. Oh shit. No, it doesn't say Jess. I just thought I'd have you going for a second to see if you'd go.
I thought I just froze up for a second. He's gone,
No. Finally there's Twitter. Matto.
Matto_Phil.
Paul James Games for me. The website is player2au. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next week.